Hey, people. Happy Tuesday. I know normally we have a show on Wednesday, but we had to switch it up this week just a little bit. So we're a day early. So that means that your week is going to get better a day earlier, right?
I feel
think
special
so.
already, to be honest with you. A day early to bring me
A day
on.
early.
I feel special.
Well, it's because you're a wrestler. You could have beat my husband up or
Stop
something.
it. Your husband's a great guy. He's awesome.
How much did he pay you?
How much did he pay me?
Yeah,
Well,
to say that.
he-
To lie for him.
He did offer me something, but I can't talk about it right
That's
now. at the
between
moment.
y'all. You know,
It's all
y'all do
good.
what y'all got to
But
do.
he's still a great guy, regardless if he offered it or
Okay,
not.
okay. Y'all do
It's
what
the
y'all gotta
holidays.
do.
It's the season of giving.
Ho, ho, ho. So our show is brought to you by Sassy Class Custom Design Gifts and Apparel, which just so happens to be one of my other businesses. We do ship worldwide for all of your t-shirt needs, banners, woodcut pieces, screen printing. Is that everything we do, James? Yeah. He says that's, So check out our page. Make sure to like it. It is Sassy Class Custom Design Gifts and Apparel. And don't forget to also like Femme Fatale, All Female Gym, and the Million Harris's Facebook pages as well. So if you are a friend, I guess I should introduce you.
I mean, I would hope so. Other than that, I don't want to step in. This is your show. I know I'm a pro wrestler, but I feel like you can handle yourself really well, and I don't feel like getting punched right now.
I don't know what vibe you got to let you know that I could probably handle myself. And
I'm just saying. I was talking
punch.
to your husband. He loves you. He loves you a lot, but he's very.
Yes.
I'm kind of an asshole. I thought I hit the go live button.
That's awesome.
So we got to do all
That's
that
awesome.
again?
Yay!
Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. The Libra Lounge Rakisha is coming to you a day early because we have a very special guest live in the studio, Mr. Ruthless Ryan Davidson from the Reality of Wrestling.
That's me. Thanks for having me on. And you got to bring it up. You have to.
So actually that intro was actually a little bit better than the first time we did this.
Yeah.
Because we did this already. But someone, we won't mention any names. Y'all know James was the one that fucked up. He didn't hit the right button for us to go live. But since you got it together, producer James.
Yes, everything's good.
You're the man, bro.
They're used to me firing you. This time might be the real time that I just get rid of your ass.
Oof. And they call me Ruthless. I don't.
I'm
you know
Ruthless Rakisha.
Ooh, I'm
I like
saying.
the name.
I might need a gimmick change after this show.
That's funny.
I might need a gimmick change. It's all good.
So tonight's show is brought to you by Sassy Class Custom Design Gifts and Apparel, which happens to be one of my businesses. We do t-shirts, screen printing, banners, woodcut pieces, door hangers. We do etching. So anything you need that you want custom design, give us a call. Make sure you like our Facebook page. That is Sassy Class Custom Design Gifts and Apparel. But also when you're liking that page, don't forget to like our other show sponsors, Femme Fatale Gym and the Million Harris. Also, as always, if you use my discount code with the Million Harris, Libra 20, you'll save 20% off your purchase. And if you go for gym membership admission to Libra Lounge, you'll get $10 off your initiation fee. So, I've got Mr. Ryan, which I saw you fight before. I don't know if I told you.
Who did I fight?
I don't know.
Do you remember?
But you won.
Always.
I mean, that's of course I don't remember your
Spoiler alert,
opponent.
you come to reality wrestling, Ryan Davidson wins like all the time.
It was so funny because my stepson was with us and he's like, Dad, he looks like you. I'm like, they're beard brothers.
I mean, I can recognize a good beardsman when I see one. So it's all good.
It's like a little, it's like y'all do a little sign to each other, like
Pretty much.
Wakanda forever, beard forever.
It's like, you know what? It is like that. It's like a certain frequency.
Yeah.
Like the beards like vibrate a certain way. It's all good, man.
So you guys, if you're a friend of the Libra Lounge, you know what time it is. It is time for the Gab.
We know she has a really big mouth. which sounds kind of dirty, and that's probably true too. Let's gossip. The Gab with Keisha.
Getting it.
All right. So everyone is talking about my girl Cardi B. And her big announcement.
That was awesome.
Thank
was
you.
so
I
good.
practice
That was really
it. I
good.
practice
That
it
was
quite
really
often.
good.
Thank you.
Spot
Thank you. Sometimes when I do it outside, birds come in the yard. I don't know. I'm like, is it a bird call? What's going on? Please don't shit on my vehicle. So Cardi B late last week made I guess is it a vlog when you do something video? Is that what it is?
It's a vlog.
It's
a
vlog.
vlog. Yeah. It's the same. Yeah. It's the same thing.
Okay. A vlog
Mhm.
where she told everyone that she and her husband Offset have broken up. But here's the thing. Now, they had all kinds of trouble. They had a threesome. Then there was an issue with the girl they brought into the relationship. Then she found out that he had cheated on her. She had her crew go to this bar where the girl worked. They were trying to fight her. Then there was an issue with another woman. So I don't know. I think he's a rapper. He's a dog.
This is like the juiciest gossip that I've heard in like the past 2 weeks. I ain't gonna lie. And here's the thing, Cardi B, I like a star like Cardi B because whether you love her or hate her, that's who she is.
Yes,
you know
she
what
stays
I mean?
true to herself.
And she is a star regardless of what
Right.
anybody says. But like this type of, I don't know, man, this love triangle conundrum we got going on here is just
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. You kind of should know what you're getting yourself into trying to throw somebody in the mix. I mean, it sounds all good, but it's like, I don't know, man. It's like, you're on diet trying to get a piece of pizza, man. It sounds good. You take it in, it's great.
You
And then
didn't
after a
want
while,
more.
man, you just feel bad.
Well, and I think that she, and I don't know this to be true, but I'm just thinking that she knew he was a dog, a player. So she probably figured, hey, if I go ahead, because I think Cardi, she looks pretty goddamn freaky to me herself. So I guess she maybe thought that if she brought someone else into the relationship for sexual reasons, that maybe he wouldn't step outside. But I think that kind of blew up in her face.
There's a void somewhere in that relationship, man. You know what I mean? Because, obviously, if you found the right partner, obviously it's enough, right? I
Right.
mean, you're satisfying each other and all needs, physical and intellectual, what
Right.
have you.
I
But
think there you go, right there. It's that intellectual part
I'm
that
just-
I think
I'm
there's a
just
void.
saying, I'm just saying, but
I don't think either one of them are real smart.
But I think it's both sides, man. I mean, I think it's
Yeah.
both sides. I think it's Cardi B and her husband,
Yes.
or ex-husband, however you want to
Yeah.
put it.
See, they're the type of people that even though she says they're getting a divorce, I'm willing to bet they're going to go to their grave and not be divorced. They're going to be live with other people, had other kids with other people, and they're still going to be legally married.
Absolutely. And plus, you also got to put in the fact that you can tax write off a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and you know
I'm
what?
saying?
But here's the thing: is that
Keeping it real.
Offset he could benefit a lot
Yeah.
from the divorce because there was no prenup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
even-
she's
oh.
worth. I don't even. The last I heard,
Right
she
on.
was worth $50 million.
Oh.
But I think that number's going to keep going up because she's
Yeah.
at the top of her game,
Yeah,
like
she
big
is.
time.
Whether you love her or hate her, she
Yes.
is at the top of the top, man.
Well, so a lot of people are asking, is this true? Or is this like a publicity stunt? Because Offset is getting ready to drop a new album pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
So here's some attention because he's been all on with his Twitter fingers. He said, "Fuck y'all, I miss Cardi," all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, they had their baby Culture. I think the baby's like maybe 4, 5, 6 months old.
Mm-hmm.
They had not released any pictures of her. But as soon as Cardi dropped that vlog, a couple of hours later, she finally released a photo of the baby.
Ooh, that's juicy. That's smart
So
play.
it's just kind of like,
That's
what
smart
is
play
going
right
on?
there. That's juicy. Oh, yeah, I think you already know what's going on, man.
I
It's a
do know what's
ploy.
going on because
As we say in the business, it's a work, baby. It's a whizzle. It's a whizzle, bro.
I think it's just a lot of craziness. I think they're both young, and I think they are new rich. You know what I mean?
Ain't nothing better than new rich.
I know.
Ooh.
I'm trying to get new
We're
rich.
all trying. It's
But
okay.
James keeps
We're gonna-
spending all my
we're gonna-
money.
We're gonna do it one way or another. It's
Yes,
all
we're
good.
gonna be new
It's
rich.
all good. New
I don't care if I
rich.
got to put a sex tape
New
out.
rich. Ooh,
I'm gonna do a Kim Kardashian style. Whatever it takes, I'm gonna do it.
you got a producer right there.
I sure do. And a leading man.
Whoa, whoa. There you go. Right on.
So I guess we'll see here. I don't think these guys are done. I really don't.
I don't think so
I don't
either.
think they're done.
I don't
I think
think so.
they're mad at each other, not feeling each other. And here's another thing. Migos and Cardi came out right about the same time, which Migos was is very, very, very popular and has done it extremely well. But man, Cardi just kind of just surpassed everybody.
Mhm.
So, there could be a little bit of professional jealousy going on in that household too.
I mean, the ego is a strange thing to deal with.
Especially with men.
You know what? Hey, let's call it like it is,
Yeah.
man. I mean, it's not something that every guy can go ahead and deal with, and it takes a
Right.
really strong guy to
Yeah.
deal with that. But I feel like with the album droppings at certain times and then photos being released, I'll
Mhm.
say it once and I'll say it again. It's a work, baby. It's
They
a
are
work.
totally working all of us because
work.
they got us all talking.
Oh yeah.
We're all
Kudos,
talking.
y'all. Applaud to all of
Y'all
you.
a little bit smart. Y'all got a
Man.
good PR team
I'm
because
telling
that's solid right there. That's pretty
Solid.
smart. So, and I'm probably gonna have to have producer James chime in on it a little bit, but Kirk Douglas last week turned 102 years old. So, what is Kirk Douglas's most popular movie? Is it where was he Caesar?
He was Spartacus.
Spartacus. I was kind of right. Spartacus, and of course, he's the father
I was
of
hoping
Michael
somebody would
Douglas.
give that answer too, because I was all like, "Wait, hold on. I know he played an iconic role. I couldn't think of
I
it.
couldn't
was
think
all
of it
like,
at all.
Thank
I didn't-
you.
Good. That's why we keep producer
I
James
mean,
around.
Damn right.
That and he's white.
Awesome. What's up?
So he turned 102 years old. Would you want to live to be that old?
I could tell you this. Yes and no.
Mhm.
Yes, because of the fact that, I want to not trying to get too deep here, but I want to try and positively influence as many people as I can
Mhm.
while I'm here. But then again, when it gets to the moment to where I cannot tie my own shoes,
Yeah.
and not even tie, I'm going to be real, probably around 75. I'm going to go to that Velcro strap shoe and just make it easier on myself. You know what I'm saying? Probably not even
Rip,
do pants.
put it on- yeah.
I might even just do a kilt and just say whatever. It is what it is. But bottom line is that I think when you can kind of lose like all basic duties, to like putting on your shoes and your socks and stuff like that, it might be time to go.
Well, I look at it from, first of all, I'm nosy, so I don't think I'm going to die till I'm like 554 years old.
The way medicine and technology is, you
that's
got
what
a
I'm
shot.
hoping for.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying, you got a shot.
And then I've got a kid. She
Yeah.
got to put my goddamn shoes on for me, my underweir, wipe my butt,
Ooh.
whatever I need.
Ooh,
that's
that's-
why I had
that's
her, to
like
take care of me when I get old.
That's what, yeah. There
you
you go.
know, but 102, that's when you're kind of creeping on. Sometimes your kids die before you do
I know.
from old
and that's,
age.
Man,
that's
and
the
that's
sad
tough,
part.
man. Well, if as far as relatives or anything, I have a question for you. What's
Okay.
the oldest relative you've had in your family, if you know? Oldest one.
It would have been my grandfather,
Mhm.
but he wasn't a blood grandfather. He was my mom's
Gotcha.
step parent.
Gotcha.
He lived to be 97, 90, 98.
It's a good life, man.
Yeah, but
life.
unfortunately, on my dad and my mom's side of the family, people don't live very, very long.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
Really?
both my dad's parents died before they were 52. Yeah,
Man, that's
Yeah.
young. That's
and
young,
then my
man.
mom's dad died when she was 15,
Wow.
and then her mom passed away. Oh man, when she was mid 60s.
Wow.
It doesn't look that good for. Why'd you bring that up?
It's getting deep here, folks.
It is
My
getting
bad.
real deep. I'm like, my mortality is being questioned
bad.
right
I'm just
now.
saying, appreciate life. That's all I gotta say.
Yes,
Appreciate
yeah,
life.
especially if you're in
Yeah.
my family, because
Turn
we don't
that
know
into a
how long you're gonna
positive.
be here. So, so
Real.
congratulations to you, Kirk Douglas, 102. That is a blessing right there.
Absolutely,
That's
man.
a blessing. But here's what's not a blessing.
Mm.
Kevin Hart
Ooh, I've just heard about this.
stepping down, and I know producer James is going to chime in, and I hope he does, because he used to be a professional comedian.
Mhm.
He used to do stand-up comedy, my husband.
Mm.
So Kevin Hart had been asked to host the Oscars this year, which is a fantastic idea to me,
Mhm.
because he's funny, he can work a crowd, and sometimes they pick like the most fucking boring person. It's like they're up there reading a novel. It's just a snore fest. So I'm like, okay, Kevin Hart, all right, he's gonna get it turned up.
Mhm.
But then someone dug up some old tweets that he made, and to me personally, the tweets weren't in the category of being homophobic, even though that's how they're being labeled.
Right.
He stated, and I'm not saying it verbatim, but he stated that he would not want his kids to, I think it was his son, to be gay when he grows up.
Okay.
Now, that can be taken in several different ways. you can say that because you know the struggles that gay
Mhm.
people face,
Right.
and you don't want your child to go through that, and I can completely understand that.
Right.
Or it could be, I don't like gay people, so I don't want my son to be gay. But I'm thinking most men don't want their sons to be gay.
Yeah, I mean, I can see both sides of the
Right.
fence on this
Mhm.
one. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things that where like you can't really the only thing that you can really appreciate from my perspective is your kid's health, regardless of how the kid gets grown up or what direction they decide to go. I mean, that's completely up to the child, and it's up to
Yes.
you as a parent to just love and support
Love
them
them,
regardless.
exactly.
But you know, also on the other hand, too, I mean, it's how Kevin's viewpoints are, and if that's how he feels about it, then
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. I just don't, you know, you got to be careful with technology at the end of the day.
Yes.
And
yeah.
this is something you, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, I hate it. Like, when I go on Facebook and it's like, oh, 8 years ago today. And I'm
you
literally
see
like,
what you wrote, you're like, was I
"Oh,
really that
no.
stupid?
I
Yeah.
said some stuff.
Me
like, I was
too.
that guy, like, go, like, had a great day, hashtag this, that, whatever. Like, if I would have met me 8 years
Yes.
ago, I probably would have punched myself in the
Yeah,
face.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so you got to be careful with the technology. But, I mean, it's a dicey topic, man. I
It
see both
is.
sides. I really do.
You know, and people always ask me because I'm just so open about everything. And people are like, well, what if, Skylar was a lesbian? I'm like, she's still my child. I don't
Right.
care. My only
Right.
concern would be, and I think this is where Kevin was coming from, and I would sit her down and tell her, look, I have no issue with that at all.
Right.
But as your parent, like with any other thing, I worry about you being okay. I don't want to catch a
Absolutely.
case because some asshole's talking about my kid because she's a lesbian, and I gotta go fight him.
Right.
You know, and
No,
I
absolutely.
think that's right. And Kevin's little. He
Right.
don't need to be fighting anybody. He's a little bitty man.
I mean, you know,
You
he might
know?
have some hands on him, man.
But I mean,
he
he
might
might
have some
belly punch
hands.
him, you know?
I'm just saying, isn't he from like Philly? That's where he's from, Philly,
Yeah,
right?
he's still real
People
little.
from Philly are tough,
I
man.
mean,
He
he's
might
got a
some
1-year-old
hands.
son that's taller than him.
He bet.
So, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just like, Kevin.
That's rough, man.
So,
That's
since
rough.
there was all this backlash,
Ugh.
Kevin, I thought Kevin stepped down for one reason, but then producer James was like, no. That is not why he stepped down. He stepped down to say, fuck you to the Oscars for trying to censor me about anything. Go ahead, producer James.
Well, it's not just the tweets.
Make sure
because,
your mic's on so we don't have to do this again because you didn't have your mic on so people could hear you. Kind of like you did at the beginning of the show when you didn't press live.
Ooh, it's
the
getting
mic's
real.
on.
It's getting real.
Good.
It's
Once
real.
again, I will no longer be known as Ruthless Ryan Davidson by the end of this episode. my name has been transferred to someone else. But anyways, producer James, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
So it wasn't just the tweets. In one of his comedy specials, and that's really what they pointed to as well. He had probably 10 minutes worth of jokes about he didn't want his son to be gay.
Okay.
That comedy special, which is one you've actually seen,
And I probably laughed my
a few
ass
times,
off.
everyone laughed their ass
Yeah.
off. No one had an issue with it then.
Right.
The big problem is when society's feelings about things change, how can you hold somebody accountable for something that 10 years ago was
Agree.
totally okay?
Oh, now it's
not okay.
Right.
That's like revising reality all
Right.
of a
Right.
sudden. I think
And especially
that
from a
was-
stand-up comedians, because
Yes,
I mean,
no one's
if we
safe.
really go back to some stand-up comedy specials, not even 10 years ago, with certain comics that are doing great today, if we're gonna go based on that, then a lot of people are gonna have to lose their money, they lose money, lose shows, they're gonna lose all kinds of
Well,
stuff.
what about Eddie Murphy Raw?
Oh my God!
He-
oh
Like
yeah.
the greatest stand-up ever.
Yes, and
Next
he
to Richard Pryor.
I think he went like 30 minutes talking about gay people.
Oh,
and
man.
that was back in the 80s.
Yeah, it's the 80s.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
and plus it's stand-up comedy. It's a joke. So
It's a joke. No one's safe.
Yeah. So so when you said it can be taken a few different ways, the only way it should be taken is as a joke. That's the
Yeah,
point.
it's a joke.
We're killing our sense of humor.
Yeah.
with
And that's
sensitivity.
sad because we should all be able to make fun of each other.
Very good point.
You know what I mean? I made fun of him for being white. He makes fun of me for being black. It's fucking funny.
I
you
just
know
make
what I
fun
mean?
of myself. That's all. good.
Yes, I'm like I tell people all the time. I'm a petty motherfucker. Okay, but I will
Amen.
talk about myself
Amen.
more than I would talk about anybody else. It's like I'm not going to give you the opportunity to talk about me because I already know it and I'm going to say it. So I feel bad for Kevin because it was a testament to where he has come to be asked to host the Oscars. That's, I mean, what an accolade. Did I say that right?
Accolade.
I
You
did.
You did
Okay,
good.
because
That's
I will
great
mess
job.
up a word in a
Girl,
minute.
you great.
Yeah.
I got you.
And
No
keep on
worries.
rolling.
No worries.
So it's a sad situation, and we're so super sensitive about everything.
I agree.
You can't. Oh, you didn't sneeze right. that sneeze was, you don't like Jewish people, do you? Yeah, it's just like, what does that have to do with any? I sneezed,
Oh,
so,
man.
our society's all screwed up right now. But since you are in this world, where you've got to be physically fit like me, got abs for days.
Girl.
So I wanted to
girl.
ask your opinion. Who do you think are the top 5 male physiques in Hollywood?
In Hollywood right now.
Right now.
All right, real easy. Number 1, right off the top, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That's number 1.
I'd have
Okay.
one of his pebbles.
I'm shy. She definitely is smelling some things that he's cooking. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, number 2, another wrestler that just got into Hollywood doing big is John Cena.
Yes.
Okay, he's gonna be in the new
Ooh,
Bumblebee
that boy has an
movie.
ass on him.
Yeah, does he?
Oh my
I
God,
don't know.
yes.
I don't look at
Yes.
John like that.
Oh,
I
I do.
I can't see it.
I
can't
saw
see
it. I saw it for the both of us.
You see what
Yeah.
I did there? Anyways, so number 3 for me
You
is
can't see me.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Number 3 for me, top 5, and I thought about this earlier. Jason Momoa, new Aquaman. That's Khal Drago. Like that's I see why chicks go after this guy. I do.
And he's got the light colored eyes and the dark olive skin and the long hair and
See,
Ooh.
already getting a girl boner over here.
I
for
do.
Just doing it. Just
I'm
doing
about
it.
to-
I already got 2
yeah.
more. Are we all right? We going?
Yes, let's carry on.
All right, so the next one, and this is just something, he's absolutely hilarious, but he'll never not take his shirt off in a movie, is Ryan Reynolds. As
Yes, he
Deadpool
does.
or Pikachu.
Mhm.
How does that work?
Yeah, I don't know how that's
Pikachu.
gonna work, but I bet he's gonna look good doing it.
Right. And then last one, and I kind of thought about it, and I mean, there's a bunch of other people in this, that, whatever, but I mean, one guy that's always been consistent is Ryan Gosling. He's always had a
He
pretty
has.
decent physique.
Yeah.
Always lean, always all that stuff. Man pretty, I guess, or whatever. I don't know.
And, people say he
Whatever,
is man
yeah.
pretty. I think he's got a cute smile. I think he's cute. I don't get what so many women just like drool all over him.
Right.
But he does have a very, very good body. I think that was a really good list.
I mean, I thought about it earlier, and I'm just sitting there going, well, it's whatever. But I mean, it's I mean,
It is what it
real
is.
recognizes real. I'm a good-looking
Exactly,
man. I recognize other
exactly.
good-looking men. It's fine. It's
And
no
what
big
you
deal.
guys don't know that he was number 6 on that list.
Damn right.
Yeah. So I have to mention, and my audience already knows, and there's no way I can have a wrestler as a guest, and then we're talking about bodies, and I don't mention my forever crush. Producer James, do you know who I'm talking about? My forever crush. I love him forever. He used to be a wrestler. He will always be the number 1 wrestler in my heart. And he has one of the best bodies I've ever seen in my life. And if he's watching right now, I'll leave James for you. All you have to do is say the word and send me a plane ticket, and I'm there. Maven Huffman.
Maven. Wow,
Maven.
really? Wow. Maven.
That is not for like literally we did there's Man Crush Mondays. I would
Yeah.
have Maven Crush Mondays.
Man.
Where I would post a picture of Maven.
I hope the mysterious Q is watching this because he's a big Maven fan. I think he would have popped if he would have saw that. That is unbelievable. Maven.
I love whenever people are
All
like,
right.
who's your favorite celebrity?
All
If you
right.
can meet anyone, if you can have a baby with anyone, I'm like, it's Maven.
Maven.
See, I was hoping it'd be Kamala, but
Yeah, that's you know what I'm saying.
Or
Yeah,
Viscera,
that's
one
right.
or the
That's
other.
right. That's right. I'm telling you. Shout out for a Kamala reference. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
I don't know what they're talking about, but
Maven. Wow,
yeah,
that's all right. That's cool.
yeah. I went way back.
That's cool. You did.
I went way,
You did
way
that. You went back
back
to like my time, like coming up watching wrestling. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I watched
man,
him on what was the show? Tough Enough.
Tough Enough.
that
yeah.
he won.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
that's still
first
my
one.
boo.
First
Mhm.
winner, man.
He's still my boo. So, all right. So when we get back from these messages, we're gonna talk more to Ruthless Ryan Davidson about his wrestling career. We'll be right back. Femme Fatale is the fully equipped boutique-style gym and fitness club that is taking a new and innovative approach to women's health and fitness. Our main goal is to provide a comfortable and completely judgment-free venue for women of all ages and fitness levels to come exercise and feel like a positive, fit family. We understand the busy lifestyle of today's women, so we also provide 30 minutes to 1 hour fitness classes, including the newest trends like boot camps, yoga, and body bar. We also offer a break room for school-aged children to hang out, as well as a tanning bed and sauna. We are located at 689 FM 517 West in Dickinson, Texas, and our phone number is 281-678-8037. Mention the Libra Lounge and get $10 off your initiation fee. We look forward to growing our fit family with you. We are back. So during the commercial break, we were actually talking about our favorite stand-up comedians, and I think producer James has a new boyfriend, and it's you, because you guys both love Patrice O'Neal. Isn't he the one who did the animated thing where Blade was in prison when Wesley Snipes was in prison and everyone kept coming up to him, hey man, how come so you can't walk in the daytime? He just like stupid things, like constant Blade references the whole time that Wesley Snipes was in prison.
Yeah, that was when he was on the Opie and Anthony show, and somebody animated some of the bits that they were in, and that was that was one where it was like Blade's in prison for like the first day. He's like, hey man, how come we didn't do no karate moves to get out of this place, man? Is it true that the old man was not your dad? Is that how that works? Day one.
Oh man.
Yeah. So R.I.P. Patrice O'Neal. So what I want to know is why wrestling?
Why wrestling?
Why? Like, how did that get in your head? What made you say, I want to be a wrestler?
Man, I counter that with why not wrestling, because it's like a beautiful thing. And, you know, to answer your question, like wrestling is such a beautiful art to me. And it's not just on the physical realm, but it's just on the realm of controlling people's emotions.
Yeah.
And it's no different than television shows or movies or what have you. And you play a certain character that can bring out these emotions through massive amounts of people. And I love being in the center of that. I really, really do. I feel like every wrestler, whether they want to admit it or not, is slightly a little bit narcissistic in that way. And it's one of those things that I've just always was just in love and enamored with, just the characters and just the way that everybody seemed larger in life. We have Spider-Man, we have Superman, Batman, all these different superheroes, but this is real life human beings,
and you can
as
go watch
close
him.
as being a superhero as you possibly can. Plus, on the physicality side, being a physical guy my whole life, doing contact sports and what have you, and martial arts and whatnot, it was a shoo-in for me to just love wrestling. And I mean, like I said, it's something that I'm extremely passionate about. I love. It can drive me nuts, but it's also like the most beautiful thing. It's like the best worst girlfriend I've ever had in my life.
Like me.
So,
it's like me. That's what all my
wrestling.
ex-boyfriends say.
So, yeah.
So, did you discover your love for wrestling when you were a kid, or was it something that, you got into as an adult?
So, like, my earliest memory of wrestling was I was a kid and my dad was flipping through the channels and came across Jose Lothario punching Jim Cornette. And it probably was around like 1996 when like Shawn Michaels was feuding, I guess, probably with maybe Owen Hart or British Bulldog. I really couldn't remember. I just remember Jose Lothario and Jim Cornette in the ring, and Jose Lothario hit Jim Cornette. My earliest, like, really falling into wrestling was probably when I was around 12, 13 years old. Okay. And, I pretty much grew up in a household where I got censored a lot on TV stuff. So I wasn't allowed to, like, watch The Simpsons and watch, like, other things. Yeah, no. I got all into that afterwards.
Of course. Like, this is what I've been missing.
But it was one of those things in middle school. I just saw a bunch of kids, like, do crotch chops and suck it signs, and I'm just sitting there like, what is that? That's hilarious.
Are those gang signs?
Yeah, and they're like, D-Generation X, this is great, this, that, whatever. I'm like, D-Generation X? Like, I didn't know. So next thing you know, I had a buddy of mine, he was like one of my best friends growing up, and got real hard into wrestling, and I just fell into it with him pretty much when I was like 12 or 13. So this is probably late 90s, early 2000s, and I just fell in love with it ever since.
Right.
And I grew up, basically with like the Stone Colds and the Rocks and the Undertakers and everything else, the Triple H's. My personal favorite when I just first got into wrestling was Cactus Jack McFoley. That was like my favorite because I've always been like a husky kid. He was a husky guy, but he literally was insane. And I'm like, this guy is the most amazing person I've ever seen in my life. So that's kind of how wrestling started with me. I mean, it was always football, amateur wrestling, and I'm an avid swimmer. believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, swimming. Yeah.
Black
that was
people
like
don't swim.
It's not that complicated. It's fine. I'm a horrible swimmer now. I tried swimming the other day, like at the gym. I'm like, man, I got this. I'm like, I am god awful right now. This is so bad. But
I
great
used
cardio.
to
though.
do it.
Yeah, great cardio though. But other than that, yeah, man, like wrestling just ever since I pretty much just got that taste. It's been full board.
So, where did you grow up? Did you grow up in this area?
I'm born and raised in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Born and raised. I was Memorial Hermann Hospital. It used to be called Memorial West over there off I-10 off Gessner. That's where I was born.
Okay.
And I was born and raised. I went to Bel Air High School here in Houston, graduated in 03. And then
oh my God.
yeah,
He said he graduated in
2003. So shout out. Go Cards. Anyway, so
one person did like this.
Yeah, somebody's probably like, yo, bro, what's up? Anyways, but no, and then after that, I went and played football at West Texas A&M University, which is a small 4-year university right outside of Amarillo. It's in Canyon, Texas. It's
Never heard of it.
Panhandle of Texas. But the ironic thing is, going back to wrestling, I didn't know about this until after I got out of college, was apparently there were a lot of famous wrestlers that went and played sports at that college.
Okay.
Dusty Rhodes, Tully Blanchard, Terry Funk, Dory Funk, Stan Hansen, Tito Santana, Bruiser Brody.
They didn't have their pictures
All
up
played.
anywhere?
No, so Terry Funk and Dory Funk were the only two really that were like really well known there. Everybody else, it was like, once again, I didn't find out till I got out of college. I was like, oh my God, all these wrestlers. But then again, it was fate that I go to the same university.
Of course, it was meant to be.
Being in pro wrestling.
Didn't DiBiase?
Yes.
Well?
Thank you very much. Ted DiBiase. Yes, he played football. I think Dusty Rhodes and I think Stan Hansen played baseball there. I don't know if they played football, but everybody else did. I was actually told that Tully Blanchard was actually a really good football player there, and what have you. But yeah, all these wrestlers went to the same university I did. And everything like that. So that's pretty much how I came up.
Right.
And I broke in while I was in college. Like,
you broke into wrestling while you were in college?
I broke into wrestling.
How do you break into wrestling though?
It's really weird, but I just happened.
We like weird.
I just happened to have a guy in my public speaking class when I was in college drop a wrestling reference, and I dropped one right back at him, and he goes, hey, I know a guy that runs a wrestling organization in Amarillo. And I go, okay. So literally, like, when we didn't have any classes, I drove with him into town, and literally off the side of the freeway in between Amarillo and Canyon, because it's about 20 miles apart, there was a wrestling ring in the middle of an outdoor go-kart track. And that's where I broke into professional wrestling.
What? Yes. That is not how I thought that story was going to go.
Yeah,
but,
it's crazy. But it never lets me forget where I come from. Or how I broke in, because it makes me appreciate wrestling so much, because going from a outdoor go-kart track where, like, when it's cold, the mat is freezing, so you actually have to wrestle in those big, huge, puffy starter jackets.
Oh, really?
Remember those big old school NFL jackets? We'd wrestle in those just to stay warm. To go from that to, like, now being a part of, like, reality wrestling, where it's a 21,000 square foot facility with multiple rings and workout equipment and our own arena to do our tapings, like,
with Booker T,
with a WWE Hall of Famer, like, you know, you have to, you can't help but appreciate the small things.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's definitely cool. It's definitely made me humble, but it's also never let me forget where I came from. So
how would you describe Ryan Davidson, the wrestler?
So basically like this, and I get this all the time. It's one of those things where people think that they know me from what I do in the wrestling ring, and they think I'm a jerk. And then when they actually get to know the real Ryan, they actually, wow, he's really not that bad of a guy. At least I hope a lot of people think I'm not.
That's
that
not
guy.
what they say.
Right.
That's not. I know.
Anyways, no. But as far as the character of Ruthless Ryan Davidson, I didn't have the worst childhood, but I didn't have the best childhood either. So I take a lot of things that have happened to me early in my life, and I kind of project it into professional wrestling. And the character Ryan Davidson, the bear Ryan Davidson, I've always had a thing with bears. Like, I have a tattoo here on my arm. And just everything. Bears have always been revolved about my life. But my mindset when I get into the ring is like, I am a bear. I am ferocious. I am dangerous. I am deadly.
You are ruthless.
And anybody that gets in my way, I'm going to rip them apart.
Yeah.
in front of all your loved ones, and I do not care. Like, I want to see your mother cry. I want to see your kids say, Daddy can't get up, and you're right, because he can't get up because of me. You know what I mean? Like, that's my mentality. Plus,
he met these paws.
Right.
He got these paws put on him.
That's my mentality of it, and just stuff like that. But it's, once again, it's a character. It's not how I really feel. But when that red light comes on in the camera, and it's always cliche, but it's the truth. But I also wrestle with a chip on my shoulder because as humbled as I am and grateful as I am, I really feel like I can give a lot more to pro wrestling, you know, and oh wow!
Let's give a shout out to G-Dub.
Wow,
You're
very
his
cool.
favorite wrestler from the reality of wrestling.
Thank you, G-Dub.
He knows all of y'all.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. But no, like, I wrestle with a chip on my shoulder because I always feel like I have something to prove, and it's one of those things because, like, especially more so now than anything, like, my new motivation is that you know, I'm 33 years old. And pro wrestling is a young man's, young woman's game.
Yeah,
it is for the majority. But then again, a lot of pro wrestling has changed over the past 5, 8, 10 years to where a lot of older athletes are showing to do not only just as good of a job, but better than all these young people that are coming up. So my new motivation is that I want to prove and will prove to people that regardless of your age, if there's anything you want, you're going to go out and get it and achieve it if you want it bad enough. And that's just like my thing. So that's why I do what I do every single day. But, you know,
I actually like what you just said because I relate to that, because trying to break into the entertainment business, I'm 39.
Right.
So some people are like, why didn't you start?
Man, I thought she was like 30, man, like 29, 30 girl, 39 girl.
You thought it was 18.
Saying.
I get that a lot. I get carded all the time. But yeah, you know, it's a young person's
39.
thing.
God, you look great for 39.
Thank you.
Man.
Thank you. He's 62.
62?
Yeah.
I'm with you, bro. It's all good, man. I'm 33 going on 62. I got to make sure I keep my DDP yoga in line. It's all good.
I'm glad you said that, because people do mind fuck themselves about their age.
Right.
You know, and it is hard because you're surrounded by people that are younger than you, and you know, and you're like, but you just go out there, do your thing if you want it bad enough.
Right.
Yeah, it's cool you mentioned DDP because he started at 36. I mean, he was one of those exceptional guys that started late.
Yeah, man.
Still.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of different things that I get motivated by and what have you. But that's like one of my main things too, is that, you know, it's not just proving to myself, because I feel like when you compete in the world, you should never compete against the person next to you, because I think that kind of puts a limitation on yourself. And plus, if you try and compete somebody else, you actually lower your creativity, because all you're worried about is that other person. If you compete against yourself, there are no limits. You can be as creative as you want. You can go as hard as you want. It doesn't matter, because it's you against you. Yeah. So that's my mentality and my character, and also in real life on how I look at pro wrestling. And that was like a long-winded answer for that question.
I mean, we were kind of timing it. You know, you had about another
I'm a chatterbox, man. If anybody who knows me, I chat, dude.
I am
can't.
too. So, you know, tell our audience, you know, about the reality of wrestling, because everyone, you know, we know WWE, you know, and people are like, what's reality of wrestling? I mean, people around here know about it a lot. And it's still, when we talk about, you know, when we go and watch, and people are like, oh, I didn't know that it was there. So a lot of people don't understand exactly what it is. So why don't you let our audience know?
Well, I'm going to go out and say this, and this might sound very arrogant, but it's absolutely true. Reality of wrestling is absolute best professional wrestling in the state of Texas, bar none. Like the absolute best. Like, we have the best athletes, we have the best wrestlers, we have the best entertainers, and the person that leads the charge is one of the best that's ever stepped in the ring, WWE Hall of Famer Booker T. It's not kissing rear ends, it's just the absolute truth. Right. And when it comes to getting our name out there and what have you and whatnot, we have grown so much, even from 2-3 years ago, you know. And like, I've been involved with Booker T since 2008. Here it is, 2018, tail end of 2018. So we're coming, 10 years. And I can tell you, we've gone to the point where almost the shows are about to get closed down. We have 50 people in the crowd. And then there's been moments to where it's been sold out buildings night after night after night. Yeah. And we're always going to keep growing and always keep going. So if anybody loves professional wrestling or just wants to be entertained, really, you don't even have to be a fan of professional wrestling. If you really just want good live entertainment, reality wrestling is the way to go.
Well, I tell you, the times that I've gone and the times that James has gone, y'all have some diehard fans. There's people there that I'm like, these people are here every weekend because they know
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
You know, they're not coming there together, but they're used to seeing each other, and you know, they're there to cheer on their favorite wrestlers. They've got their signs, and
Right.
I mean, I was like, I don't know what I was expecting, but I was just like, this is faux real
Yeah.
over here,
And
the food's really good. Too.
Yeah, see, I just found out about that with the concessions.
food is on
apparently
point.
the food's really good. I gotta check this out.
Yes, you're missing out if you haven't been to the concession stand. It ain't your typical concession stand.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what's up.
Yes. I was like, I guess I'll stay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
But you know, it's an opportunity to go out and see what the best we can offer just in reality wrestling. And in our minds, we don't look at just Texas. We look at just being one of the premier organizations around the country.
Right.
Because there's so many different wrestlers, men and women, that try to get into the realm of reality wrestling. And speaking of women, like I love how in pro wrestling there's never been a better time as a woman to be a professional wrestler than now. And reality wrestling has their own events, Ladies Night Out. They just did their 4th one, going on. They're about to do their 5th one here in a couple months, and where it's an all women show. And then they're about to have some seminars from some of the best independent female wrestlers across the country. And it's just one of those things that we're breaking down barriers, man.
Yeah.
It's not just another indie wrestling organization.
Right.
It's really an organization of opportunity. And it's once again, it's not like anybody's paying me to say it. It's just honest. You know what I mean? So if there's any ladies out there that want to try and think about being a professional wrestler or giving it a shot, man, like
now is the time.
Now is the time. Now is the time to do it.
So let me ask you, since you brought up female wrestlers, what do you think about Ronda Rousey being a wrestler?
So I am a big fan of Ronda Rousey.
Oh God, but her face looks like an angry vagina.
Like, no,
it
she
just
looks like the
mad
Nightman
vagina.
from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. She looks like the Nightman.
Her face is
But
just it's just
Nightwoman.
mean. It's just
It is mean, but I am a fan of Ronda Rousey. I am. But as far as being in professional wrestling, you know, whether you love it or hate it, man, you're gonna talk about it. It's like she's like the Cardi B of pro wrestling right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like and she's doing her job well. I mean, is she a good wrestler as Charlotte or Asuka or Becky Lynch? Absolutely not. There's absolutely not. But you know what? People are gonna talk about it. She could sell tickets, and it's a must-see event when her name is on the bill.
Yeah.
So
it's
I
smart
feel like
marketing for sure.
Absolutely, man.
So, you know, I grew up, my dad was manly man. He was a professional bodybuilder. So, you know, wrestling was always on. I grew up with Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, all those people.
Right.
So I wanted to ask you, who are your inspirations and your heroes in this industry?
So I'm gonna make this real quick, so it won't be long-winded. But
That'll be the first time for tonight.
I'm telling you, I chat.
I'm just kidding. I love it. I love it.
You ain't kidding. It's honest, but it's all good. You know, once again, biggest inspirations right off the top. The person that made me want to become a professional wrestler was Triple H.
Gotcha.
I saw Triple H, and I'm like, this is the coolest human being I've ever seen. He's mean. He's nasty. He looks like $1 million. I want to be just like that guy.
Right.
Have
you met him?
I have a couple times. And it's awesome. And it's always cool to meet your heroes. But, you know, the other person that I related to the most when I first broke into professional wrestling was Mick Foley. Because once again, you know, husky guy, you know, everybody didn't look at him that much. I know what it's like to be the first person picked on the team and the last person picked on the team. And I feel like Mick Foley was like the closest thing, resembled that for me. But then once I got in the business and understood wrestling more, then it was the Chris Jerichos, the Eddie Guerreros, the Rey Mysterios, the Benoits, the Booker T's, the Mr. Perfects, the Ric Flairs, the Shawn Michaels, and stuff goes on and on and on and on and on. So I have a lot of different aspirations, and one has a special meaning in their own way, but top two would be Triple H and Mick Foley for sure.
So did you get a chance to, you know, because we see these wrestlers and, you know, you guys are so larger than life. And like you said, we really don't think about your lives, you know, outside of the ring.
Right.
Did you get a chance to watch the HBO special about Andre the Giant?
Oh yeah, it came out on my birthday.
Oh my God.
Came out on my
that was
birthday.
done on purpose.
Yeah.
I know.
I know.
It was
Thank
done on
you,
purpose.
universe. Appreciate that.
It was so. You see this man that is just like this anomaly, you know, and you just assume his life has to be great.
Right.
And then you watch that documentary and you're like, man,
It's tough.
yeah.
Humanize the giant, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very sad because you got to see how lonely he was.
Right.
He couldn't go anywhere, and you know, then his fall from fame, and he was basically, to me, an alcoholic, not purposely, just for the fact that it would take so much alcohol to even get him drunk.
Right.
And then, the aches and pains, and, you never would have guessed that this was going on. With this person that you get to watch on TV or watch live, who basically comes and grabs two men and puts them together and they're out.
Right.
That he, as soon as he got off, just completely different.
Yeah. It's a documentary that really hits home with trying not to judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
And, and once again, it humanized the giants.
Yeah.
And just on this whole thing as to where it's like, you never know what somebody's going through.
Exactly.
I always tell like younger guys and women that, get these opportunities to go to WWE and be in the back as extras or anything like that. You might run into somebody that might not have the best attitude, or let's say they come across like, oh, so-and-so is a jerk. Because nothing's worse than like meeting somebody that you admire. And then it's like, oh my God, they're the biggest asshole on the planet. But you have no idea what their day is.
That happened just 5 minutes before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Their kid could be sick and they just got that phone call. They've been on the road for God knows how many days or weeks, or somebody told them, hey, we're going to do this for your career. And then things change on a dime, which happens a lot in pro wrestling.
And an entertainment business, period, point
Absolutely.
blank.
So it's one of those things. But back to Andre, man, he was just such a special thing. And, it was one of the greatest things to watch because you just idolize this guy. But then again, it was so sad of going, man, the amount that human being went through.
A lot.
Unbelievable, man.
I mean, you can't even fit in a normal sized bed.
Yeah.
Can't
even use the toilet. You got to use the bathtub,
It's just, and I didn't even know that he had a daughter.
Yeah.
Until that documentary. I had no idea.
I didn't know about the property that he had in North Carolina, living with the people that he did. Like I've never heard of that, so that was very interesting.
Where you got to see him kind of riding on a 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
And he said that's when he was really
like totally
himself.
Cool. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It was really, really something. Producer James, you want to chime in?
Well, I mean, that documentary was great. I was going to ask, have you watched The Resurrection of Jake the Snake?
Absolutely. In fact, I actually met Jake the Snake and DDP when they did a private screening for Reality Wrestling for that movie. And I was actually fortunate enough. I had a truck at the time. Book was like, hey, they need to ride back to the hotel. Ooh. Can you get them? I go, yeah, I think I got time for 2 WWE Hall of Famers to take them to their hotel. And luckily enough for me, not for them, unfortunately, their hotel was like, Reality Wrestling's based in Texas City. Their hotel was all the way by Intercontinental Airport. Ooh. So I got to spend like over an hour with Jake the Snake and DDP and just sit there and just, shoot the shit and just talk and everything like that. And I can't thank those guys enough. DDP being so cool, and he was like, oh, bro, you helped me out, man. You gave me a ride. I didn't have to pay for an Uber. He was like, let me do something for you. Send me your info, bro, because I told him I do DDP yoga. The next day, he goes, hey, check your account. I updated it for you. Gave me 2 free years of DDP yoga.
No.
VIP subscription, and I actually refunded my money back that I paid for the subscription. Yeah. DDP, if you're watching, you were the man,
cool.
bro. Thank you. Yeah, that's the type of guy that he is, man. So,
all right, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to be back with Ruthless, not just Ryan, but Ruthless Ryan Davidson. We'll be right back. Hey guys, it's Keisha, the host of the Libra Lounge with Keisha podcast and web series. If you follow me on social media, you know that the Million Harris is one of the sponsors of the show. I've told you all about the great hair products for both men and women that they have, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to actually see some of their hair bundles. Here they are. What I did was I ordered both 20 and 22-inch Malaysian bundles and a frontal from the Million Harris and took them to my stylist and had her make this unit. Yes, this is actually a lace front unit made from the bundles I purchased at the Million Harris. I usually don't wear this much hair extensions, nor do I wear it this long, but I really, really love it. The hair feels amazing. It looks great. I've been getting compliments everywhere that I go. So make sure to go to her website or stop by the shop and get your order on. She's got hair products, bundles, and mink lashes. Make sure to use my discount code Libra20 for 20% off your total purchase.
Communities in Schools is a nationwide organization that works with our most at-risk youth, helping kids with a wide variety of needs and services in your communities. With the drastic change in temperature, we are in desperate need of new or gently used hoodies and jackets. Many of our families must send their children to school without a sweater or jacket. Walking to the bus stop, riding to school, and even playing on the playground increases the risk of illness and cold weather injuries. But you can help. Please donate today before the weather gets even colder. We need all sizes, from children's extra small to adult 3X large. Girls, boys, women's, and men's. New or freshly laundered like new items only, please. If you would like to donate, please drop off at the Communities and Schools office located at 303 East Main Street, Suite 120 in League City. Donations can be dropped off Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Please mark your donation to Attention Jill Wells, and your donations will go to schools in Dickinson ISD. For our listeners around the country, you can ship your donations to Communities and Schools Bay Area, P.O. Box 580096, Houston, Texas 77258.
Welcome back, everyone. We are here on a special Tuesday evening with Ruthless Ryan Davidson. We're having some good conversation over here.
Yeah, man.
You have to come back again.
Oh,
Most
God, please have me.
Yes.
I told you I'm a chatterbox. You
So
can't
am
get
I.
me to
So
shut
am I.
up.
Yeah, sometimes I just go. I like to hear my own self-talk.
Yeah.
I think I'm really charming and interesting.
Extremely.
So I just
You
keep
kidding me?
talking
I'm, like,
and talking
blown
and
away,
talking.
man.
And people are like, "Is she going to shut the hell up?" I'm like, no.
Mm-mm.
So let me ask you, I know you're a wrestler, but do you have a regular 9-to-5 career too?
Yeah, so I actually right now at the moment I do have a regular 9 to 5, and there's a lot of men and women on the independent level that do that, and you know it's really tough on the full-time aspect of being a pro wrestler to get there without having a contract somewhere. But the thing is though is I'm very fortunate with what I do and the schedule that I have to where it works around that.
Yeah.
Because that's a challenge that like up and coming professional wrestlers that are in training, men and women, it's like trying to find, we all got bills.
Right.
You can't run away from taxes.
Yeah.
So you got to go ahead and get things paid for, but yet you're also trying to go out and achieve this dream and follow this passion of yours. They can be really, really tough, but it's totally doable. I mean,
is it hard to balance it?
It really all depends. I always say this: if it doesn't work for you, then don't do it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. Again, don't worry about the money because the money will come eventually. Yeah. And if you're good enough, regardless, it's going to get there regardless. Right. But I mean, I feel like that just really depends on the person because, there's sometimes to where some people they'll let life happen to them instead of life happening for them. Yeah. And just once again, finding a way to make it work, man.
So, producer James has a question. You can always tell when it's a Keisha question or a producer James question that gets thrown in there.
Okay.
So he says, and I have to read it because it's not my question.
All good.
So what do you think about some of the other non-WWE promotions out there like Ring of Honor or Impact Wrestling?
Okay. So both amazing wrestling organizations. I actually did a tryout for Ring of Honor this time last year, as a matter of fact. I was in Philadelphia for them. And Ring of Honor is a wonderful organization, and that to me has some of the best wrestling talent on the planet, if not the best wrestling talent on the planet. Impact Wrestling, it was on the decline for a little bit. It's starting to come right back up. They're having a lot of great worldwide talent that's going ahead and wrestling there on a weekly basis, and it's just starting to get on the rise, and they changed their whole format, their whole look, and what have you. And I feel like any wrestling's good wrestling. You know what I mean? Because wrestling's a lot like movies. You don't have just one certain type of wrestling. There's different genres of it. You have your comedy wrestling, you have women's wrestling, you have big super heavyweights, you have your high flyers, you have your technical wrestlers, things of that nature. No different with movies. You got dramas, you got comedies, you got horrors, you got all kinds of different stuff. Any wrestling's good wrestling, and I feel like that as long as people are selling tickets and being entertained, business
it's a
is
win-win.
good. Yeah.
He also wants to know, what do you think about some of the sillier ones? Like, is it Chikara?
Yeah, Chikara wrestling. So I love Chikara wrestling. I love the characters and the comedy. And when I was over in Japan, I went to Japan for the first time this year, and I was there for about 6 weeks. And I wrestled for an organization called
Konnichiwa.
Yeah, konnichiwa gozaimasu. I went over there, and it was a company called DDT, and DDT stands for Dramatic Dream Team. Which is pretty interesting. A lot of people don't know that. And they specialize. Not only do they do really good technical wrestling, have some of the best athletes in Japan and all over the world compete for them, but they do some of the wackiest wrestling you've ever seen. I'm talking like a tofu block fighting a guy dressed up like Rambo. Okay, they'll have a guy dressed up like Gundam Wing fighting another dude that looks like an anime character.
Oh wow!
I can tell you the craziest match I've ever done was while I was over there. I wrestled in the middle of a forest 2 hours outside of Tokyo, and I swung a log, hitting a bunch of people because I was a mountain man camper and everybody was disturbing me. If anybody wants to watch that, you can go to ddtuniverse.com so go ahead and pay for a subscription.
We're so gonna look that up.
I'm just saying, it's there. I'll put it on my social media just to prove it. But yeah, I was swinging a log like Terry Funk with a ladder from back in the day. Dead serious. And it's just crazy. So to answer the question, any wrestling's good wrestling. And I feel like, once again, as long as you're entertained, because some people just want to watch wrestling because it uses the platform to get over comedy, to get over athleticism, to get over emotion in general. And I feel like, all of that is very necessary. I think as long as everything's balanced, you can't have too much of one thing. Everything's got to be balanced.
So, a lot of the, great wrestlers from when James and I were growing up, they got hit pretty hard with, a lot of them dying young because of steroid use. Yeah. So do you think that it's something that has gotten a lot more control, or are they doing more drug testing now?
Absolutely. I think the game has changed when Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit passed away. The way that things happen and what have you, and it's one of those things that we take a deeper look into the concussion aspects of different things and people's health and what have you. And it is tough that you have all these legends that from the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, and to where like steroid use at that time was just as frequent as taking some branched chain amino acids. You know what I mean? Like nobody would even bat an eye about it. But to answer your question, the health is completely just more of a top priority in the wrestling realm. Steroid use is very, very low, extremely low. In fact, I don't really know a lot of athletes that do dabble in it. Pretty much everybody's into yoga and CrossFit from what I've seen, which is very beneficial, obviously, and what have you. But health is definitely on the incline and stuff. You know what I mean? So it's definitely looking good, man. It's not. I think the age of everybody looking like jacked up bodybuilders is kind of passe. I mean, it's still necessary and good for pro wrestling because cosmetics always help. Yes, but I think it's definitely on the decline as far as roids.
Yeah, I think you can tell, especially in the WWE, where you don't have guys who get pushed just because of their looks, like like Ultimate Warrior, or they're still big guys and all that. There's still guys that look cut, but you get guys like CM Punk who are not the typical Vince McMahon body style, that still get a lot of success.
If you can entertain, and you can, as we say in the business, if you can go, which means you got great endurance and you're able to entertain for anywhere between 20 minutes to an hour straight and keep those fans entertained. I mean, it really doesn't matter. I mean, if you look at Dusty Rhodes, like no one even bats an eye that this guy was like massively obese. You know what I mean? But I mean, he was probably the greatest, in my mind, the most charismatic entertainer, professional wrestler that's ever lived. And people don't even look at it like that. It all depends on what you can do, what you can do inside that squared circle, sell some tickets and entertain the hell out of as many people as you can.
I mean, until you said that endurance for 20 minutes, I thought maybe I would have a career in professional wrestling. I'm just saying. It's that endurance that I got to work on, but everything else I think I got.
Yeah, man. The ring ain't a playground, man. It's tough, man. I'm telling you, it's tough.
So, there was what are we, 2018? I can't remember how many years back, but it was that whole big controversy with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
he got his Hall of Fame.
Hold on, what controversy? Because there's been a couple with Hulk Hogan.
Well, yeah,
there's been a couple.
Right.
There's been a couple.
This isn't about the sex tape. Yeah. It was about, I think he made like a racist comment or something like that. So they suspended him from the Hall of Fame, but then they put him back in it. What do you think about that? Because a lot of people were like, how do you take it from him and then give it to him back? He still said what he said. And then you've got some people that said, he said it, he apologized, he got punished for it. Now give the guy back his bragging rights or his accolades or whatever. What do you think?
You know, it's a tricky thing, man, and it's one of those things. Once again, going back to the Kevin Hart thing that we talked about earlier. You know, you when you're in a certain position, when you are a celebrity athlete, superstar, whatever you want to call it, you gotta watch what you say, and somebody's always listening and what have you. Let alone the fact, like, just keeping opinions to yourself. He could have fully meant that, or maybe, you know, once again, you never know.
You never ever know.
Maybe he got cut off by somebody and it triggered something from back then, and we're all guilty.
We all do it.
I mean, it's just, let's be real.
We just don't have people recording us when we say it.
But it's one of those things though that, you know, I mean, it's a troubled thing. I always believe in a second chance, but then again, I always believe an example should be made. And I feel like that, you know, if justice fit the punishment, then, you know, let's move on. You know?
Yeah, I was completely okay, and I know a lot of people disagree with me when it did come up in conversation. I think that they did the right thing by giving it back to him because he earned it.
Right.
You know, you know, I don't know if you were a fan of Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
I used to love that show.
Right.
And still do. I still watch it on the mornings that it comes on.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we were just reporting a couple of weeks ago, his wife Beth was back in the hospital because her throat cancer came back. But, you know, their show got kicked off of A&E because his son had recorded a conversation between the two of them. The son was dating a black woman, and Dog used the N-word several times when he was, you know, making reference to this young lady. But I was still a fan.
Right.
I'm like, people have a right to say what they want to say, you know, behind closed doors. I mean, there's pillow talk and things that you don't expect for anyone else to hear. But I'm like, I still loved his trashy ass. You know, I'm like, I loved his trashy ass before he said that. And you know what? I still like his trashy ass. You know, after that, I even followed them over to CNN when they had their show on there. So it's just one of those things that, you know, every entertainer hopefully has a PR person to kind of clean up stuff like that. But when you go as far as to record someone in their home,
I hear you.
I'm like, mofo, it's my house.
Man, you know, man, you saying that real quick, I really wish that you would have followed reality wrestling when it was known as PWA back in the day, because we had a pro wrestler named Russell Simpson. His gimmick literally was a carbon copy of the Dog the Bounty Hunter.
What?
Swear to God. had the hair. Phenomenal wrestler too. Phenomenal wrestler. Had the hair, had the look. He was jacked, everything. And his valet was like, she had dark hair instead of blonde hair, but just massive breasts.
Lots
and
of
just
titties.
came out. Oh, just man.
Lots of titties.
It was fantastic. Oh, I wish he was still
I
around.
love them. I'm always like, I don't understand why you like those people. Like, they're funny and they're shit talkers.
It's a
How
guilty
can you
pleasure,
not?
man. It's a guilty pleasure.
I
it
love
is what it is.
Whenever someone would say, hey, I just went to Hawaii, I'm like, did you meet Dog and Beth? Then it wasn't a trip to Hawaii if you did it. So,
That's so awesome.
Before we go into our next break, what would you tell to, you know, a young man or woman who is thinking about breaking into the wrestling industry? What would be your advice to them?
Man, follow your heart, but also be aware of yourself. Be true to yourself. I never say be real because, you know, I hate people that say be realistic. Everything I've ever done in my life or in pro wrestling has never been realistic, ever. So when people say, oh, just be real, no, the realistic doesn't exist. Realistic is what you create.
Yeah.
And what for somebody trying to want to be a pro wrestler and stuff like that, be aware of what the pro wrestling business can demand out of you. It's a lot of time away from your family. It's a lot of sacrifices. But then again, if you want to do this, really just in any realm, whether it's entertainment, opening up a business or whatever, if that's what you want to do, go out and do it. You know, that's the thing. And then give it all you got. But be aware with yourself that, like, if you're not in the best of shape and you're trying to get into a business where it requires you to be in some good shape, probably might want to hit the gym, hit the treadmill and what have you. But
if
also,
you're female, make sure to go to Femme Fatale all-female gym.
There you go. But you know, like I said, real quick, man, just give it everything you got. Don't let anybody tell you that you know. No one's gonna have to understand it. They just need to understand you.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And just be different. Just be different. It's not about the moves. It's about just being different.
Right.
I think there's a big problem in wrestling today is where a lot of people, like, they look different. They might have different looking outfits, but a lot of the wrestling styles the same. A lot of the strikes look the same. A lot of the moves look the same. Just be different. People love variety. So follow your heart, be different, and learn that no does not mean no. No means not right now.
Yes, I agree with that 100%.
So
And Ryan, before we go into this break, I'm sure Booker T knows how to get in contact with Maven. I'm gonna need you to get that information for me. So the next time when you come on the show,
I'm gonna see Booker tomorrow for film study. I'm hitting him up. I'll be like, bro,
Booker T,
you got that number right there? He's gonna be like, man, I don't got no number like that.
I'll take an email.
I'm gonna say, you know what? I might ask Charmel. She might know somebody that might.
Tell Charmel I liked her hair when I was there.
Info. I'm going to. I'll find out. I'm gonna do some dirt for you. I promise. We're gonna investigate. We're gonna get a contact info.
Like, I would love to do an interview with him. I mean, I would spend the whole time doing like this.
Yeah, I was about to say, can you control yourself?
I
mean, could we control you? I don't know. Man, I
have
don't
a feeling
know.
when he will leave, he'll be like, well, bye, James. I got my bags packed. It's been real.
What are you doing?
I got to go
You
now.
don't need to stay at a hotel. You could just stay right here. It's fine.
In my bed.
Yeah, just stay in bed.
With
All the be in
me.
the how long would you smell the pillow in the sheets? How long?
Forever. Forever.
For as long as her face was pressed into it.
Show me those moves, Mr. Huffman.
Yeah.
All right, so when we get back, we're going to have Bitch Please, of course, and then Ryan's going to tell us how to find him on social media, his next match, and more about how to get tickets from Reality of Wrestling. And if you want to stalk him, he's going to give you everything you need to be able to do it. We'll be right back.
Your very own Houston Havoc have teamed up with Keisha from the Libra Lounge to present to you the Lady Havoc Dance Team. This is the premier year for the Lady Havoc, and we're excited to offer you a great opportunity to sponsor the team. Call or email today to sign up to sponsor and show your support for the Lady Havoc Dance Team. Hey folks, have you thought about having your own podcast but are worried it's too expensive or too hard to produce? Well, you're in luck. Pink Phoenix Media, the company that's brought you such shows as the Libra Lounge with Keisha, Going Deep with Leon and Keisha, and our brand new show, the Manticore Media Podcast, is here to offer you the chance to have your own podcast professionally recorded, produced, and broadcasted. We offer very affordable rates, flexible schedule, and everything you need to make your media dreams come true. Check us out and email us at sales@pinkphoenixmedia.net.
But I still haven't used the email.
Oh, that's so good.
I have it, but I haven't used it. I'm just like, how do I explain that? So we're talking about Maven Huffman.
Yes, we are.
And some of my stalker skills. So the guy actually said, I'm giving you this, but neither one of us is going to get arrested for stalking, right? I'm like, I might.
It's happening. I see it. We're putting it out there in the universe, man, that Maven.
Call me Maven.
Maven, we're going to make contact. We're going to get him on this show. And I don't even want to be a part of it. I want to literally sit in the corner and I just want to watch. Oh, I want to watch you just drool all over this guy. We literally want that.
I have a feeling in some way it's gonna get back to Maven, and because he doesn't do social media or anything like that.
It's already done, man. It's
I
just
think
time
so
moves
too.
slow.
We done put it out there in the universe.
I'm telling you.
All right, Ryan. So tell us everything we need to know. How can people follow you on social media? How can they get tickets? When is your next match? Are you traveling? What you doing? What's your DNA? Give us a hair sample. Tell us everything.
O positive DNA, by the way. But pretty much, you find me social media, Instagram and Twitter. The handle is the same, at RDBear57 for Twitter and Instagram. Facebook, it's just Ryan Davidson. This picture of me just doing this, right? Have you. For tickets and info for Reality of Wrestling, go to realitywrestling.com. You can also download the Fight TV app. It's free. It's got every single episode of Reality of Wrestling. I think episode 233 or 232 just dropped. We do those every week. We're also on YouTube as well with Reality of Wrestling. I travel a lot. I'm a very busy guy. I try and stay that way. I've actually had a few weekends off and what have you, but I'm literally wrestling like nonstop until the end of the year. I'm even wrestling on Christmas Day, Christmas night. Yeah, New Orleans. So that's for Wildcat Sports, but I'll be in Tulsa, Oklahoma this weekend. Then, of course, I'll be in Dallas for Heroes of Wrestling. Tulsa, Oklahoma is a Compound Pro. And, yeah, just follow me on Instagram and Twitter to keep up with all the updates and what have you, Facebook and all that good stuff. And, like I said, Fight TV app, download it. And tickets and info, realitywrestling.com. Next event is December 29th, Christmas Chaos. I believe it's Christmas Chaos 12, I think it is. Ryan Davidson, Mysterious Q, 1-on-1 for the Texas Championship. So
we may have to check that out.
Yeah, man, and plus plenty of other good matches. I mean, you'll get to see Rex Andrews and Gino and JJ Blake, and you get to see the tag team champions, Fly Def, and then you get to see all the ladies in action. You get to see AQA, you get to see Hyon. I mean. Terrell Tempo, everybody, you know what I mean? So there's too many to name. Oh, and former guest Brian Keith, he's always at Reality Wrestling. He's one of my personal favorites. So
yes, very nice guy.
Great guy.
Do you think that a lot of men go to watch the women wrestle because they want to see if a titty will fall out?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God, yes. Oh, my God, yes.
They're sitting there hoping the whole time.
In a perfect world.
Can I see a titty? I wonder is a titty going to pop up. Is that a titty right there? Is that? I see a little nipple.
In a perfect world, but I can tell you, our ladies are ladies at Reality Wrestling. Our ladies are they better be ladies,
right?
You know what I mean? But
I'm not a lady, so I don't know about that life.
Accidents happen. You
yeah,
know
they're
what I'm
like
saying?
praying for an accident to happen. Just one titty.
There's
one titty.
There's a funny story, and I'll tell you about it after the show, about a guy that actually got pulled in the buckle and his tights exploded and his just balls out. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I actually know him. His name was Rory Fox, and he actually had a match with Zack Ryder. And yeah, he pulled him. It was like on an ECW. It's on YouTube. He pulled it, and literally his trunks like exploded, and his balls were out.
What
and
did
everything.
he do?
He took the finisher. They covered him, and I think the referee had to take his shirt off, and he had to wear it like around his towel. But like, yeah. Guns out, balls out. You know what I mean? For the business.
He was balls deep into that
for the
match.
business. For the business. Woo!
For the love of money.
Yeah, so fun. So yeah, but ladies, no, keep everything tucked in. For God's sakes.
Well, Ryan, you have been one of my favorite guests, and I don't
Shush.
say that very often
Shush.
at all.
I appreciate that, though. Thank you.
You are more than welcome to come back anytime. I truly have enjoyed talking to you.
Please have me.
I have been forgetting that we're actually doing a show because it's been like a conversation.
You know what I'm saying? And just throwing this out there, obviously I'm not going to give the location of the studio, but I am literally 6 minutes away from the studio.
Really?
Yes, 6 minutes. Looked it up on the GPS.
So if we barbecue, like
yeah,
I can invite you
I'm
to
just
come
saying
over?
I am 6 minutes away from here. So
Now
yeah.
we do have a big crawfish party every year, and I would love to put on the invitation.
Done and done.
We're gonna have an appearance from
Done and
Reality
done.
of Wrestling.
I'm gonna bring Brian Keith. I know Brian Keith likes him some crawfish. I know it, man.
Let's get it going.
We're coming. We're coming.
So you guys make sure to check out my boy Ryan and go to Reality of Wrestling and get you a ticket, and make sure when you go to get the chopped barbecue sandwiches because they are so good. I don't know whose mama is back there on that queue, but it is on point. So you guys know what time it is. It is time for a bitch, please.
Bitch, please. You be rolling down the street, telling stories, bitch, you never tell the truth. Bitch, please. Everybody know you lying, bitch, cause all you do is lie.
So our bitch please of the week is actually going to tie into one of the things we talked about during the Gab when we mentioned Kevin Hart and the Oscars. So the bitch please, we were kind of going back and forth about like how do we award this bitch please of the week, because it's kind of weird. I just think the whole situation gets the bitch please of the week. Is that fair? Okay, so the whole situation. So Kevin Hart steps down from being the host of the Oscars because people pulled up these old tweets that he made years and years and years and years ago. So Mariah Carey's baby daddy, Nick Cannon, with his petty, messy ass, I guess he didn't have nothing to do since he's not hosting America's Got Talent. So he went back digging, which I got to give it to him because the homeboy did come up with some good receipts. He dug up some old tweets from female comics. And he, let me see if I can find one real quick. Producer James is supposed to have this kind of stuff ready.
Well, I can tell you, it was.
Oh, go right ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was one from Amy Schumer,
Yes.
which was something like "Get ready, fags, we're gonna go
Yes.
watch." Something.
Oh,
and then
buddy.
Sarah Silverman was another one where
Yes.
basically they were using the word fags
A
all over the
lot.
place.
Yes.
It was a
And of
popular
course, no
word
one
back
said
in the day. You can't say it
Clearly,
anymore.
yes.
You can't say it anymore.
So,
Can't do
basically
it.
Nick Cannon's saying, well, where's the backlash? Because Amy Schumer can do no wrong to women,
Right.
He's like, where's the backlash for these female comics? Why are y'all picking on Kevin Hart? Because here is the proof right here that they actually said the slanderous words.
Man.
So, I think the whole situation is like a bitch please, because it's just like, fuck, you can't say nothing now.
You can't.
I mean, just like you can't blink wrong. You blink wrong is racist. You sneeze and you're anti-Semitic. Yeah, that's Semitic.
I just.
How do you say it, James? Say it right. I said it right. Which
said it
time? Did I say it right the first time or the second time or the third time?
About the fifth time.
The fifth time I said it right. Here's the thing it's like, it's like people, like, it's not that goddamn serious. Bitch, please.
Oof.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that the women are not getting any kind of backlash?
I just got some chills down my side when you said that. I do not want to make this woman upset at all.
My husband does everything he
so-
can not to upset me.
So I feel like Nick Cannon's got a shitload of time on his hands to go back and do
Yeah.
that. So
He's living off the Mariah Carey money.
I mean, you do what you got to do. But I
Yeah.
mean, once again, it's, I don't, what is, like, I want to know what the motive is for Nick Cannon to do
To be
something
petty.
that age. Right, but hold on. You want to help out Kevin Hart. Now, we'll go back to this Cardi B stuff, to where there's always a motive to something. And
Okay, what do you think the motive
this is where
is?
the conspiracy theorist in me kind of comes into play.
Okay.
When you go through that much dirt to try and pull out
Mhm.
some female comics that have said some stuff back in the day, and you have someone like Kevin Hart, who has a major platform and does
Yes.
very well for himself, and he's one of the top celebrities in the world. Nick Cannon, kind of an afterthought. You think
Yeah.
drumline, and that's about it. You know what I'm saying? It's about all it is, right? That's
Yes.
it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's trying to go to bat for his boy, so maybe he can get a spot or a cameo in a movie or two.
It
I
could
mean.
be. Because the last few
to
movies
me,
that he's made
that's
are
the ultimate
flops.
pettiness right there. Like, I'm gonna roast these chicks so I can get me a spot. What's up?
Yeah.
Hello, Hollywood tactics.
Well, here's
You know?
here's the next thing. I'm waiting for this to be said that everyone's racist because the female comedians were white, or everyone is sexist.
Right.
Because why is it that the man gets roasted, but these ladies are saying so much worse? It seems like it just keeps going on and on and on. And then next week, someone will have said something else, and then everyone is going to forget about Kevin Hart.
Right.
And then it'll be just a new thing. It's like, you just can't. Prime example, baby, it's cold outside.
Oh,
Did you hear about that?
I heard something. I saw a meme actually to where it's like, hold on, this is America, and it said something. It was like, we're gonna not play "Baby It's Cold Outside," but we're gonna talk about how Cardi B likes to eat ass or something.
There
Like,
you
I saw
go.
some meme about that, like "Welcome to
Yes.
America" or something.
Yes.
I saw that earlier today, but no, I do not know about that. Can you drop some knowledge on me?
Go ahead, producer James, because I know you could tell he got something to say. Go
Well,
ahead.
it's okay. So the basically at the extreme end is people are saying it's a date rape song.
Yes.
Here's why. If you listen to the lyrics,
Please explain.
yes. So and it's a reach, but that's what people do nowadays.
Oh,
So they
man.
start with, baby, it's cold outside. Come in. No, I don't want to. And you listen to the song. It's playful and flirtatious.
And they're saying
Right.
he's holding this poor girl who just wants to
Well-
go inside because she's so freezing.
Yeah, exactly. They've taken it from something that was kind of fun, cute, and flirtatious from the 1950s,
Right.
and have saying now, well, it's the man asserting his power over him, over the woman, because he's offering her warmth in exchange for something that they didn't
bless
say,
you.
but obviously he must mean.
Ugh.
And it's just staggering.
I do you one.
When and I put this on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
That's a huge problem. But they'll play 6ix9ine's
Cautious
rap
69.
lyrics
Yes.
where he actually says, "I'm only keeping you around for your jaw because that's the only part I want to fuck with,"
Yeah.
and
yeah.
that's not
I
in some way
mean-
demeaning to women.
Now.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That one is no, but I'm gonna do you one better. Did you hear about the principal who will not let any of the kids have candy canes
Why is that?
because Jay represents Jesus. And on that note, we're going to say goodnight. I want to thank my guest, Ryan Davidson, once again.
Thank you.
This was a fantastic show. We won't see you tomorrow, but we'll see you next Wednesday, where I think we have the ladies from Femme Fatale.
Ooh.
Bye-bye.